LemonAid, freshly brought to you by BlessVision Foundation. This episode is sponsored by Rotary Club of Taipo. The views and opinions expressed in the following interview are those of the guests and do not necessarily reflect the views or position of BlessVision Foundation. Happy Chinese New Year, everyone, and welcome to LemonAid. Still in the Chinese Lunar New Year time, I have a very special guest with us tonight, and her name is Esther. Well, she got a very amazing story, actually. She told me before the interview she experienced a culture shock when she was 15 years old, moving from Hong Kong to New Zealand. And then nearly she wanted to give up the music. But now she is a music therapist. Wow, everybody would like to know about your story, Esther.
Hi, everybody.
So happy that you with us today, still in the Lunar New Year's time, and to share about your story, about your culture shock when you're 15 years old. What was that happen?
That was when I was 15. I actually begged my parents so that I could actually get out of Hong Kong. And because of the education system, and I long story short, I ended up in New Zealand. To begin my study as, in secondary school, all the way to university.
So your homestay during that time?
Yes, I stay in my parents' friend's house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Would that be so stressed when you stay in parents' friend's house?
Yes, for sure. It's like because you're always under monitor. Like, I feel trapped.
Okay.
I feel like, you're under someone's household. You need to obey everything that they're saying. You're under control.
It's like not freedom, right?
Yes, there's a lack of freedom there. Yeah.
For the culture shock, what was your emotion at that time?
Well, there are actually many, many things. Like as a 15 years old going to a foreign place, you felt like you don't belong there. Like you felt like there are so many adjustments that you need to make. Like say, for example, one of the biggest one was the language problem. I was able to speak English back then because we had, we learned English since we were kindergarten. Yeah. But the English back in New Zealand was like, there's another world. Oh. It's like a totally different world in New Zealand with the accent. Like I couldn't hear a single word, basically.
Okay, even the same English, but you cannot
It's the same
listen.
English, yes, but
the accent.
You couldn't understand.
Okay.
So that was the biggest culture shock. Yes, and I spent so much time trying to train my brain, train myself how to actually
How you
understand
train yourself?
People. I was watching Simpsons. I was watching TV with subtitles like every single day for like hours, just to get my brain, being able to understand. Yeah, being able to communicate with people like my classmate and everybody.
But that seems so stressful at the time.
Yep, very high stress, really.
Well, tell me more about the culture shock. I think you still got something there.
Yes, so that's the language, and there's the friends. My best friends. We left them in Hong Kong, and it's like I start from scratch. There are no relationships, like no friendship that you can rely on. There's no people. You're basically alone in a foreign place, surrounded with your classmate of like 20 people that you don't know, and you can't understand them because they speak Kiwi English. Oh. And then there's the different curriculums of the studies. Well, they're much easier than the one that I had in Hong Kong, but like still, it's a bit of challenge of getting used to a fully English environment. And then there's the church, which I felt like back then I was forced to go to church. Oh, because of my homestay family. So
they are Christians.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's also the homestay family situation. With 3 other kids in the house, which is, similar age. And I felt like, who are these people? Like, how do I connect with them?
Oh, because they're born in New Zealand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kind of hard to communicate?
Yeah. And you're far away from family, from friends, from everything that you're used to. So basically you felt like really alone. Yeah.
So the loneliness.
Yes, that's part of it.
How you deal with this loneliness?
Well, I think music it's a big thing. It's my lifeline back then when I was 15.
But you said before you go to New Zealand, you nearly almost like gave up music. But then back to New Zealand, when you experience those like culture shock, the emotions, the being left behind, you said music helped you. How it happened?
It's a long story. It's a very interesting one, actually. Well, the homestay family that I stay with, two of the kids there, they actually also play piano. So they learn from the same teacher. And, every single day I heard them practicing piano. And I was like, what is that sound? It's like something sounds so different from what I used to. Back then when I was in Hong Kong, I had this piano teacher which basically smack your fingers. And, it's like, just practice all these 3 pieces until you are perfect with the pieces. But not the guy that I was hearing in the household where I was living. Because those 2 kids was playing something that's very enjoyable. They don't sound like they're practicing. They sound like they're enjoying music. And that's when I was like, I was curious. Who's your teacher? Can I try out a lesson with you? And it's like there's something that sparked off a little bit of, like a little spark from the very beginning of this entire lifelong music journey that I'm having right now. That's the spark.
Very special teacher. How she teach you and how special is it?
This teacher is very different from all the other ones that I had. This is someone who would actually just empower me, who would actually motivate me to such an extent of believing in me, to an extent of believing in me doing something that's, for myself back then, considered impossible. Like those pieces are absolutely impossible. Like now that I look at them, but this is someone who would actually realize your potential, understand what you're feeling, and be able to kind of push you a little bit.
But you don't feel harsh?
No, I don't feel harsh at all. She pushed me to an extent where I was actually be able to push myself even further. So those are the magic moments. This is what empowerment really means. Like you don't know something that you are able to do unless someone actually on the side tells you this is something that you can attempt. You have full potential. I believe in you.
How she empower you?
Well, I think empowering someone actually means just, you're walking alongside with them and you are giving them a taste of what can be done, what you can actually achieve. Something that they haven't managed to master yet, but they believe in you. Yeah.
For this empowerment, is it helpful for you to find yourself, who you are? And is it related?
Yes, for sure, because that's part of, building someone's self-confidence, your self-esteem. That's where it's coming from. Like, because back then when I was 15, when I first began to learn piano, that's like my self-esteem was very shaky. Like I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was good at. I was trying to find myself, but how can I find myself? Like,
yeah, right. You have no ways to find yourself.
There's no way.
Don't know how to do it.
Yeah. Unless someone else, alongside of you, very experienced, showing you the way, like showing you the path. This is the journey. Maybe you want to take on this journey, and you can find something. You can find the treasure. She was actually letting me to choose pieces that I enjoy playing. Music that actually represent who I am, like represent my emotions back then. Like I had a lot of anger back then. So you can imagine those pieces actually sounds pretty angry.
Oh, okay.
Like very, very angry. It's like you're banging on the piano almost.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that time you one of your emotion is anger.
Yep, that's a big part of it. The anger coming from, not being able to do something that you want to do. You are being trapped. The anger from being away from your friends and family, not being supported, well, in a way. Or like the anger of wanting to find yourself but don't know how. Yeah.
The angry to others, to the environment, to family, and also to yourself.
Yes. It's like, why am I not able to hear the English, the Kiwi accent? Like, why?
Maybe you blame yourself or blame others.
Yeah.
So how music help you to get out from this anger?
Oh, it's about like just externalizing your anger. Like, because those pieces that she was showing me or teaching me how to play, those are like, it's like music is like a container of emotions. When I was playing it, when I was playing my emotions out, I already, immediately felt better. Like you felt like, okay, this piece, here's my anger. This is how it sounds like. And it's okay. And this is how I feel. And it's valid. This is how I feel. And I'm very honest to myself. And once you kind of realize your anger, it's like you try to find ways to deal with it. Like, so at the same time I was playing those anger pieces, but at the same time I was also playing those really expressive pieces.
So together at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So through this music, your teacher not only empowering you, but kind of it as a healing.
Yes.
It's a healing you from all those anger.
Yeah.
And then you can calm down. Then you
Right.
step by step you have patience to find who you are.
The healing process, actually, it's also about transforming my anger back then. Like, in terms of like transforming the emotions, the negative emotions, and not letting it to develop even further into something destructive. Instead, the teacher kind of helped me to transform those negative emotions into something really positive. Which is like I was able to actually use these emotions to push me further in my practice in piano. It's more like a motivation into doing something impossible, something that's hard and difficult and impossible. It was stretching me to an extent where I was actually able to get the Royal School of Music grade 8 within 1 year. So that was from like grade 2 back when I was like 6 years old, and all the way to like grade 8.
So just within 1 year?
Within 1 year.
Wow.
From like 0, because I almost gave up music. From 0 giving up music to grade 8 in 1 year.
It is so good to know how music helped Esther went through these like culture shock, the anger, and now have a rest and come back. We'll have Esther to continue the chat. See you later. Come back again, we have Esther with us. And in the first part, we know Esther finally found herself in music, and music really helped her. But how do you find music can help others as well?
I would see music as having two ways to help people. In terms of like, how do you actually use the power of music? The first one, actually music as therapy. There are actually a lot of research supporting this, that, you know, whenever you're playing musical instruments, especially when you're actually playing with people, this process itself actually activate a lot of like different brain regions in your brain and activate and increasing what we call the happy hormone. Like, if you heard about the dopamines, the endorphins, and the serotonin, those are what we call the happy hormones. And those actually activate when you play music. And what does those hormones do? They actually regulate our sleep. They elevate your mood. They kind of increase your appetite and basically just makes you feel good. And there actually research also shows that, you know, these kind of activities, music making, also actually decrease the stress hormone. And yeah, so it basically means that playing music has a lot of like physical benefits.
Yeah.
It increased your well-being. So that's part of it, of music, the power of music. And secondly, actually, music can be a tool for music psychotherapy. It's like a form of counseling, like talking therapy, but we actually use music as a tool to help someone to kind of understand themselves, like to discover who you are. What are your thoughts, your feelings, maybe there are actually feelings that you haven't even known that they are there, but it's just that they're what we call repressed feelings and thoughts. But those are the thoughts that you might need to want to get them out and just to have a look at them. Are they affecting you? Are they affecting your lifestyle currently, or are they affecting your relationships? Those are the things that we have people to realize in the sessions. Yeah. I think a better metaphor for music therapy is like this. Like, you're the main character, and this character is not content, not happy with where you are.
Okay.
Where he is, where she is. And then he goes into an adventure, face the dragons, the monster, and eventually you find the treasure. So this is essentially, therapy is like essentially like an inward journey into yourself. For the soul, like the monster might be those, you know, that we don't want to face. Those are the things that you don't want to face within yourself.
Usually what will the monsters be?
Like, those monsters could be stuff like your guilt, like your shame, like the hurt, the repressed feelings from maybe your childhood, the trauma, the abuse. So like, yet we know that when you kind of get past all these things, when you get past the monster, you're able to find a treasure. And those treasures, what are those treasures? Those treasures are actually yourself.
Oh, so I mean those monsters are the things that obstruct us to find ourselves.
Yes, or actually being yourself, fully becoming yourself.
Then how important is it to deal with this monster? I mean, is it really a matter that we have to deal with these monsters, or is it okay, just let it be there?
I think it depending on how big the monster is in your life. Are they like something tiny, like very tiny and cute? They are just at the background, but it doesn't really disturb you. Or actually they are actually a huge monster. They are actually affecting your whole life, your relationship pattern, or your thinking, your being. They are affecting you in such an extent that you need to do something about it.
How do you find your monster?
I think for my monster that I've been dealing with the past so many years, I think one of them maybe is the fear of being trapped. Like being trapped in terms of the environment, or being trapped with like old ways of thinking, or families, or trapped with your emotions. Yeah.
So you finally deal with this monster.
Yeah.
How you deal with it?
It's as we mentioned before, it's the music. Music is my lifeline. It's more like you talk to people. You actually even go through therapy, which is what I did. Like, because part of the training we need to go through therapy, and those are the times when I actually face my monster, face to face, head to head, face to face. You see them right in front of you. Like those are the things. Yeah.
That's so scary.
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, a journey is not supposed to be comfortable. A journey is something that's challenging, is painful, is difficult, is stretching. But that's what a journey is. Otherwise, you call it a walk in the garden. It's not a journey anymore.
Oh, yeah. So a journey is supposed to be adventure, right?
Yes,
you have to.
Exactly.
But after this adventure, maybe it's hard sometime. But after this adventure, you will find a freedom.
Yeah.
How we can deal with this monster if we really want to, or when we ready to. What can we do? How we can do?
I think, there are friends around you that you can talk to them about, like, your problems, your situations. Or if people are actually, in need of, like, some professional advice, like therapy is a good options, like counseling, therapy, psychotherapy, music therapy, art therapy. There are all many different forms depending on what you prefer.
When we know we really need to meet with the therapist?
I think one of the key symptoms, you can say, whether someone is actually having an emotional breakdown or like mental health problems, is you can check yourself whether you have any physical symptoms, such as if you have headaches, like consistent headaches, if you are not eating well, not sleeping well. These are the key ingredients. And then you observe your relationship patterns, like how you interact with people or how people see you interact with them. Such as, are you overreacting? Are you becoming angry most of the time, like towards little things?
Easily being offended.
Yes, easily being offended, like, or you're isolating yourself, or you're manipulating people around you, or are you bossing people around? And those are the kind of clues towards, are you having how's your well-being going? How's your mental health state? How's your emotional state? Is it well, or is it something needs to be worked on, something needs to be dealt with? Yeah.
So this is the indicators that we know, we may reach an emotional situation.
Yeah.
We got some problems that we need to deal with and face with.
Yeah.
What is the challenge of being a music therapist?
The challenge, I think, comes in many different ways. You see, sometimes I see a lot of people coming in with different emotions, and those are really heavy emotions.
Yeah.
And say, for example, if one day you see like 3 or 4 different clients, and those are the emotions that could potentially be attached on me. And so the challenge is to learn how to kind of like, even like wearing like a waterproof jacket, like those feelings it won't be attached on you once you get out of the room. Because otherwise, as a therapist, you felt, you're attracting all these negative emotions on you, and you actually would become physically or emotionally sick as a therapist. So those are the challenge, of every therapist. You need to be able to take care of yourself.
Oh, okay. That's so heavy because everyone coming with heavy emotions and then easily being... So emotion is kind of things that also will be influenced with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So how we deal with it if we sense some others' emotions coming to us, what we can do with these outside emotions?
Well,
and do you have any suggestions how we can deal with it? If we feel like, okay, I kind of like sharing others' emotions and negative, what we can do to deal with it?
A waterproof jacket.
What is a waterproof jacket?
It's like emotional waterproof jacket
What
as a
is that?
metaphor. It's like you just need to wear it when you go and see people, when you talk to people. Well, of course, we need to be sympathizing with how they're feeling. We need to feel what they're feeling so that we can help them. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, we need to protect ourselves from not, being overly influenced or, overly impacted by others' emotions, because those are not yours. You need to know, okay, after the sessions, after talking with your friends, for example, you need to know, shake it off, shake it off, that's not mine. I put it, maybe you want to write a journal, maybe you want to do some drawings, just to kind of let out your feelings out. And you have like a record of, this is how I felt towards this person, towards this friend that I just helped. And this is valid feelings, but I let it out. That's it. I carry on with my daily life now. This is me. These are not me. Yeah, you need to kind of have a separation of the things that are yours and those are not yours.
That's a very good suggestion. So, because I know some of the friends are very good and kind. So when you know your friend's not happy, you will talk to them on the phone or meet with them for a few hours. But usually it's after the few hours meeting or phone calls, I'm so tired. And people have tears drops and they're feeling so sad. Yeah. I think you give a very good suggestion that when we sense that, we have to have a way out for this kind of emotions. We have to differentiate, okay, some emotions are from them, not from ourselves. Yeah. So we have to kind of rest and to let the emotions, let it out. Thank you so much, Esther, sharing how her journey become a music therapist. I think it's a very good reminder for us that in the Chinese New Year, which is the new start, we can start to explore and to find yourself. And do not be afraid to explore this journey. I think definitely this journey will be so excited. And this is a journey that everyone is good to start. Thank you so much, Esther, for today. You give us a very good reminder. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And then happy Chinese New Year, and we'll see you next week.
Welcome to Cantonese time. 廣東話時間.
Gloria, 好凍啊.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm freezing.
I see, so freezing is 好凍.
Exactly. I heard that this is the coldest winter in recent years. Do you have 棉被 at home?
What's that?
棉被 means blanket.
I see. Yes, I have got a blanket at home. By the way, I want to buy a down jacket for my niece. How can I say down jacket in Cantonese?
Down jacket is 羽绒.
羽绒.
Exactly. Do you have 暖爐 heater too? I just can't survive without it during winter.
Yes, I have 暖爐 at home. You know what? Why don't we have hot pot tonight at home?
Oh, I love 打邊爐. Let's do that.
What do you mean?
打邊爐 means hot pot.
Yay, 打邊爐. Flora, let's go and get some 打邊爐 food before the shop closes.
Sure, let's go. I'm hungry.